The chamber was white, wide, and silent. Soft lights glowed along the curved walls. Machines stood in careful lines, their metal arms folded like they were waiting. The air felt cold, not in temperature but in mood. James walked forward with slow steps. He wore a simple gray suit with no marks or weapons. His hands were empty. His face was calm, almost relaxed. He did not look like a soldier. He did not look like a hero. He looked like a normal human. Across the room, the alien scientists watched him. They were tall and thin, with smooth skin that changed color when they spoke. Their eyes did not blink often. To them, humans were new, small, and weak. That was what their data said. This meeting was called a scientific exchange. The aliens said they wanted peace. They said they wanted knowledge. Humans agreed, hoping to show they were not a threat. The aliens asked for volunteers to take part in tests. Not many humans agreed. James did. He was an engineer, not a fighter. He worked with systems and machines. He understood limits. He believed that if humans showed they were harmless, the galaxy would leave them alone. Emily and Michael stood behind a clear barrier. It was thick and strong, built to protect observers. Emily held her hands together tightly. Michael crossed his arms, his jaw stiff. They trusted James, but they did not trust the aliens. "He doesn't have to do this," Emily said quietly. "He chose to," Michael replied. "That's who he is." James stepped onto a flat platform in the center of the room. The surface felt cool under his boots. He looked up at the machines around him. They were tall and smooth, with glowing lines running along their sides. Cables ran from them into the floor. One alien stepped forward. Its voice came through a translator, smooth and emotionless. "This test will measure pain response," it said. "You may stop at any time." James nodded. "I understand." The alien paused, studying him. "Your species is listed as fragile," it said. "This will confirm existing records." James did not reply. He only stood still. The machines began to move. A thin band wrapped gently around James's arm. Another rested against his back. Small lights blinked on, reading his heart rate, breathing, and brain activity. Numbers appeared on alien screens. At first, nothing hurt. James breathed slowly. He focused on staying calm. He had trained himself for stress. He knew pain was part of life. Broken bones, long hours, loss. Humans lived with pain every day. The first signal came like pressure, deep and heavy. It pressed into his arm, not sharp but strong. James felt his muscles tighten. His jaw clenched for a moment, then relaxed. The aliens watched the numbers rise slightly. "Increase level," one said. The pressure grew. It felt like something heavy was pushing down on him, trying to crush muscle and bone. James's breathing changed, slower but deeper. Sweat formed on his forehead. Emily leaned closer to the barrier. "James?" she whispered. Michael said nothing. His eyes stayed on the machines. James felt pain now. Real pain. His arm shook slightly. He wanted to step back, to pull away. But he stayed. He reminded himself why he was there. Peace, safety, survival. The machines adjusted again. Heat followed the pressure. It spread slowly like fire under the skin. James inhaled sharply. His fingers curled into fists. A low sound escaped his throat, but it was not a scream. The aliens looked at one another. "Response is higher than predicted," one said. "Continue," another replied. James's vision blurred for a moment. He blinked hard and focused on a single point on the wall. He counted his breaths. 1, 2, 3. Each breath burned, but he stayed standing. Emily felt her chest tighten. "They said he could stop," she said. "Why aren't they stopping?" "Because they don't think it's dangerous," Michael said. "Not to him. Not yet." The alien leader raised a limb. Increased neural stimulus. The next wave of pain was different. It was sharp, sudden, and deep. It felt like lightning inside James's nerves. His body jerked despite his effort. His teeth clenched so hard his jaw ached. A warning light blinked on one machine. James groaned softly. His knees bent slightly, but he did not fall. His heart pounded. His skin felt hot and cold at the same time. Every instinct screamed at him to stop. But he stayed. He remembered Earth. Long nights fixing broken systems. Storms. Loss. Humans learned early that giving up did not make pain stop. It only delayed it. The aliens stared at the screens. Numbers climbed fast. "This exceeds standard tolerance," one said. "For predators," another answered. The leader tilted its head. "The human remains conscious." James lifted his head. His eyes met the barrier for a brief moment. Emily saw him look at her. He did not smile, but there was something steady in his gaze. "I'm okay," he said, his voice rough but clear. Emily's eyes filled with tears. The machines hummed louder. The pressure and heat held steady. The pain did not fade, but James adapted. His body shook, but his mind stayed focused. He was not winning. He was enduring. The aliens felt something unfamiliar. Uncertainty. Their record said humans avoided pain. That they broke easily. That fear controlled them. But the data in front of them did not match. One machine let out a sharp sound. A screen flickered. "System strain detected," an alien said. The leader hesitated. For the first time it did not give an order. James took another breath. It hurt. Everything hurt. But he was still there. Behind the barrier, Michael lowered his arms. "They wanted proof," he said quietly. "They're getting it." The chamber was no longer silent. It was filled with the sound of machines struggling to keep up, and a human who refused to fall. And this was only the beginning. The machines did not stop after the first wave of pain. They adjusted, learned, and pushed forward. Metal arms shifted closer to James, locking into new positions. The soft hum turned into a deep, steady sound that filled the chamber. James stood on the platform, breathing slow and controlled. His body already hurt, but the pain had not broken him. Sweat ran down his face and neck. His muscles were tight, ready for the next strike. The alien scientists watched their screens. Lines moved. Numbers climbed. They spoke in low tones, their skin colors changing slightly with each exchange. "Pressure increased by 10 units, one said. The machine responded at once. The pressure wrapped tighter around James's arm and chest. It felt like the weight of a mountain pressing inward. His ribs ached. His lungs fought for space. James inhaled through his nose and exhaled through his mouth. His hands shook, but he kept them at his sides. No scream came. No plea. Only breath. Behind the barrier, Emily leaned forward. She could see the strain in his face now. His eyes were focused but red. His jaw was tight. She noticed small warning symbols appear on the nearest console. "Michael," she said softly. "Those lights weren't there before." Michael stepped closer to the glass. "I see them." The aliens increased the heat next. Warmth spread across James's skin, then grew hotter, sharper. It felt like standing too close to fire, but there was no way to step back. His skin burned. His nerves screamed. His body wanted to pull away. James swallowed hard. He did not move. A low sound escaped his throat, but it was not loud. It was not fear. It was effort. He shifted his weight slightly to stay balanced. The aliens stared. "Heat levels are now equal to apex predator testing," one said. "Human response?" another asked. "Elevated," came the reply. "But stable." The leader stood still, watching James instead of the screens. "Increased neural signal," it said. Emily's heart skipped. "Neural?" she whispered. "That's dangerous." Michael's hands curled into fists. They said it was safe. The machine sent the signal without delay. Pain exploded inside James's body. It was sudden and deep, like sharp light tearing through his nerves. His vision went white for a moment. His knees bent and he almost fell. Almost. James gritted his teeth and forced himself upright. His heart raced. His thoughts scattered, then pulled back together. He focused on one thing: standing. Just standing. The screens reacted at once. Lines spiked high. Alarms chirped softly. Data jumped beyond marked limits. "That is not possible," an alien said. "These limits are set for predators," another replied. "Not prey." James's breathing grew heavier. Each breath burned his chest. His skin felt wrong, too hot and too tight. His arm throbbed with deep, steady pain. Still he said nothing. Emily pressed her palm against the barrier. "James, stop," she whispered. "Please." James did not hear her. Or maybe he did but chose not to listen. He had made a choice before stepping onto the platform. He would not break easily. Not here. Not now. The machines adjusted again, pushing closer to their limits. Pressure rose. Heat held steady. Neural signals pulsed in controlled bursts. James's body shook. A drop of blood ran from his nose. His eyes watered but stayed open. His jaw trembled. Every part of him hurt, but his will held firm. The aliens felt something shift in the room. "Unease. This level is dangerous," one said. "Equipment strain is increasing." The leader did not answer at once. It watched James carefully, as if seeing him for the first time. "Human," it said through the translator. "You may stop." James heard that. He lifted his head slowly. His voice was rough but clear. "Continue." Emily gasped. He told them to continue. Michael closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them. He's showing them something, he said quietly. The machines responded to the command. Data surged higher. Several warning lights turned from yellow to red. The consoles beeped faster now, sharp and uneasy. Systems approaching failure, an alien said. Human pain response exceeds predicted maximum, another added. James felt like his body was on fire and breaking apart at the same time. His nerves burned. His muscles screamed. His thoughts drifted then snapped back with effort. He focused on simple things. Breathing. Standing. Not falling. Pain did not scare him anymore. It was everywhere. It was part of him now. Emily's eyes moved quickly over the screens. She was not a scientist, but she understood warnings. They're pushing too far, she said. The machines can't handle this. Michael nodded. Neither can they. One machine let out a loud warning tone. A screen flickered. Numbers froze then jumped again. The alien scientist stepped back slightly. This is beyond safe operation, one said. For the equipment, another answered. James swayed. His boots scraped softly against the platform. He caught himself breathing hard. His heart felt like it would burst, but it did not. The leader raised a limb, hesitation clear in its posture. Enough, it said at last. Pause the test. The machine slowed. Pressure eased slightly. Heat lowered by a small degree. The neural signal stopped. James remained standing. Silence filled the chamber again, broken only by the fading hum of machines and James's heavy breathing. Emily exhaled a breath she did not know she was holding. He's still standing, she said. Michael nodded slowly. They didn't expect that. The aliens stared at the data one more time. The numbers were still high. Too high. Their equipment had reached limits meant for creatures far more dangerous than humans. Yet the human had not fallen. And the flashing red lights told a story none of them were ready to accept. The first machine failed with a sharp crack. A bright line of light flashed across its surface, then went dark. One of the metal arms froze in place, shaking slightly before locking stiff. A warning sound rang through the chamber, loud and sudden. James flinched but did not fall. He stood on the platform breathing hard. Each breath felt heavy like dragging air through fire. His chest rose and fell fast. Sweat covered his face and soaked his suit. His legs trembled but they held. Another alarm sounded. A sensor on his arm sparked and shut down. The screen connected to it went black. Sensor failure, one alien said, its voice sharp. Reroute data, another replied. But before they could act, a second sensor overloaded. Lights flickered. Numbers jumped wildly then vanished. James felt the pressure change. The pain shifted uneven now. Some parts of his body burned. Others felt numb. His head rang and dark spots filled the edges of his vision. He blinked hard and stayed upright. Behind the barrier, Emily's hands shook. Michael stood close to her, his face pale. Neither spoke. The sound of failing machines filled the room. Then another voice joined them. That's not normal, David said. David stood farther back with Jessica. They were human observers sent to watch and record. They had seen tests before but never like this. Jessica stared at the consoles. Those machines are built for extreme stress, she said. Not this. A loud pop echoed through the chamber. A panel burst open on one of the larger machines. Smoke drifted into the air, thin and gray. The alien stepped back at once. Power levels are unstable, one said. Shut it down, another demanded. The leader hesitated. James swayed again. His knees bent but he forced them straight. His teeth were clenched so hard his jaw hurt. Blood ran from his nose now, warm against his lips. Still he did not collapse. His eyes stayed open. James? Emily whispered. Her voice broke. James did not answer. He focused on staying awake. The world felt distant like he was underwater. Sounds were slow and deep. Pain was everywhere but it no longer shocked him. It was just there. Another sensor failed. Then another. Screens went dark one by one. Red warnings filled the remaining displays. The machines could no longer read his body correctly. That should not be possible, an alien said, its skin shifting to a dull, worried color. Our systems are designed beyond this level, another replied. The human should have lost consciousness. But he has not, the leader said quietly. Fear crept into the chamber. The aliens had expected cries. Begging. Collapse. That was what their records showed for weak species. Instead, they saw a human still standing while their machines broke around him. A cable snapped loose from the floor. Sparks jumped across the platform. David stepped closer to the barrier. They don't understand, he said softly. Jessica nodded. They never studied endurance. Only limits. James took a deep breath and coughed. His chest burned. His vision blurred again, but he shook his head slightly, clearing it. He was tired. So tired. Every part of him screamed for rest. But something deeper held him up. Not anger. Not pride. Habit. Humans learned early to push through pain. Work did not stop because of injury. Life did not pause for comfort. James had lived that truth long before he stood in this room. Another machine let out a long, broken sound and powered down. The pressure around James loosened suddenly. He stumbled forward a step, catching himself at the last moment. Emily gasped. The aliens moved farther back now. Their earlier calm was gone. Their posture was tense. Their voices rose and overlapped. "This is dangerous," one said. "For us," another replied. Smoke thickened near the ceiling. The chamber lights dimmed, then brightened again. Emergency systems struggled to keep control. The leader raised its limbs. "End the test," it ordered. Some machines obeyed. Others did not respond at all. James felt the pain change again, uneven and strange. Without full control, the systems pulled and released at random. His body shook harder now. But he stayed on his feet. Jessica pressed her hand to the glass. "He's still conscious," she said, disbelief clear in her voice. David nodded slowly. "They thought pain was a switch," he said. "On or off." A loud crash cut through the air. One of the machines collapsed in on itself, metal bending and breaking. The sound echoed like thunder. That was enough. The aliens pulled back fully, retreating toward the edges of the chamber. Fear was no longer hidden. It was clear in their movements, in the way they avoided looking directly at James. "Cut all power," the leader said. The remaining machines shut down at last. The hum faded. The pressure vanished. The heat dropped fast. James stood alone on the platform. Silence fell. His breathing was loud now, harsh and uneven. His arms hung heavy at his sides. His legs shook but did not give out. Emily covered her mouth. Tears ran down her face. Michael exhaled slowly. "He did it," he said. He stayed standing. David and Jessica shared a look. It was not pride they felt. It was understanding. "They never asked how humans live," Jessica said. "Only how much we hurt." James lifted his head slightly. His eyes moved across the chamber. He saw the broken machines. The smoke. The aliens standing far away. He did not smile. He only stood. The leader stepped forward again, slower this time, careful. "The test is over," it said. James nodded once. His legs finally gave way. Michael and David moved at once, rushing to the platform as the barrier lifted. Emily ran too, catching James as he fell. Together they lowered him to the floor. He was still breathing, still conscious. His eyes fluttered but stayed open. Jessica looked back at the aliens. They watched in silence, shaken. For the first time they were afraid. Not of human strength, but of human endurance. The chamber was no longer filled with noise. The alarms had stopped. The machines stood silent and broken, some dark, some bent, others still giving off thin trails of smoke. The floor was marked with scorched lines and scattered metal parts. James lay on a medical stretcher near the platform. His chest rose and fell slowly now. His breathing was rough but steady. His eyes were open, unfocused, but alive. The aliens kept their distance. They spoke in low, tense voices, their skin colors shifting in signs of stress. What was meant to be a simple test had become something else. Something that did not fit their records. One alien moved closer to a console and touched the screen. The display showed frozen data, red warnings, and final readings. "The equipment reached maximum capacity," it said, "before the human failed." Another alien replied sharply, "That is not possible." "But it is recorded," the first answered. Multiple systems shut down from overload. The leader stepped forward and looked at the broken machines. Then it looked at James. "The test is ended," it said clearly. "All further trials are cancelled." Behind the barrier, John and Ashley exchanged a look. They had waited quietly until now, watching everything. They were diplomats, not scientists, but they understood what had just happened. "This cannot stay here," John said. He stepped forward as the barrier opened fully. "These results must be sent to the Galactic Council." Ashley nodded. "Every record, every failure, every data spike." The aliens turned toward them at once. "That information is internal," one alien said. "It concerns humanity," Ashley replied, her voice calm but firm. "Which makes it public." The leader's skin darkened slightly. "The council will misread this." "They already misread us," John said. This corrects that. James shifted on the stretcher. Emily sat beside him, holding his hand. Michael stood close, watching the aliens carefully. David and Jessica waited near the consoles, silent witnesses. The aliens began to argue among themselves. Their voices rose and fell, sharp and fast. Their movements were tense. Some pointed at the machines. Others gestured toward James. Our systems were designed for predators, one said. This should not have happened. Then our design is flawed, another replied. Or our understanding of humans is. The leader raised a limb, ending the debate. Silence returned. The data will be reviewed, it said slowly. And transmitted. John let out a slow breath. Good. Ashley stepped closer to the broken platform. She looked at the damage. You believed pain would stop him, she said. You were wrong. The leader studied her. Your species does not react as expected. No, Ashley agreed. We endure. The aliens were quiet after that. Medical drones moved carefully around James, scanning his injuries. His body was hurt but stable. His heart rate had lowered. The pain still showed in his face, but he did not cry out. Emily brushed hair from his forehead. You scared us, she said softly. James managed a weak breath that might have been a laugh. Still here, he whispered. Michael smiled, relief clear in his eyes. Across the chamber, the aliens watched the human interactions with interest. There was no celebration. No shouting. Only quiet care. One alien stepped forward, slower than before. Why did he not surrender? It asked. David answered. Because pain is not always the end. Jessica added, sometimes it's just part of the path. The alien processed this in silence. Screens came back online one by one, now running on backup systems. The final report appeared. A clear line marked the moment when the machines failed. James's data continued beyond that point. The evidence was simple. The human did not break. The machines did. The leader looked at the report for a long time. Then it straightened. Our curiosity was cold, it said. We believed knowledge came from control. And now? Ashley asked. Now, the leader said, we see restraint. John folded his hands behind his back. Then record that too. The aliens nodded slowly. The atmosphere in the chamber changed. Fear faded. In its place was something quieter. Careful. Respect. Not admiration. Not worship. Understanding. James was moved toward the exit. As he passed the aliens, they stepped aside without being asked. One lowered its head slightly, a small gesture, but a clear one. Emily noticed. She said nothing, but she saw it. The doors opened. Clean air flowed in. The smoke drifted away. Behind them, data streamed toward the stars, carrying the truth beyond the chamber. The experiment was over. But the lesson had only begun. The chamber looked different now. The broken machines were gone. The floor was clean again. New lights glowed softly along the walls. It felt quieter, calmer, like the room itself was resting. James walked slowly toward the exit. His steps were careful. His body was still hurt. His arm was wrapped. His face was pale. But he walked on his own. His back was straight. His eyes were clear. Daniel and Lauren stood near the far wall, watching him pass. He doesn't look weak, Lauren said softly. Daniel shook his head. He never was. Around them, large screens filled the chamber. Lines of text moved across them in many alien languages. Galactic reports were being updated in real time. Records that had stood for centuries were changing. One line faded away. Fragile species. It was replaced with new words. High endurance. Resistant. Persistent. Humans. Alien officials stood in small groups, reading the data in silence. Some looked confused. Others thoughtful. A few looked uneasy. None looked confident anymore. The test results were clear. There was no argument left. The machines had failed first. James had not. Lauren watched as an alien council member paused at the screen. They measure strength wrong, she said quietly. Daniel nodded. They always did. Across the chamber, the leader of the alien group spoke to its people. Its voice was calm now, but slower than before. Our understanding was incomplete, it said. We believed pain ended resistance. It paused. It does not. James reached the doorway. Emily stood there waiting, ready to support him if needed. He waved her off gently and took the last few steps on his own. Daniel felt a strange tightness in his chest. He had seen battles. He had seen loss. But this felt different. This will change things, he said. Lauren nodded. Across the galaxy. The reports did not stop at one system. They spread outward, carried by data streams faster than ships. Councils received them. Military groups reviewed them. Scientists paused and rechecked their models. The same question appeared everywhere. If humans endure this, what else have we misunderstood? On distant worlds, alien leaders leaned closer to their screens. Some felt fear. Others felt respect. Many felt both. Humans were not loud about it. There was no broadcast of victory. No demand for praise. No threat made. The data spoke for itself. James stepped into the transport corridor. The light there was warmer. Softer. The pain in his body flared with each step, but he accepted it. Pain was still pain. It did not disappear just because the test was over. Lauren watched him leave. "He looks tired," she said. "He is," Daniel replied. "But he's standing." They turned back to the screens. A new note appeared at the bottom of the report, added by the Alien Council itself. Recommendation: exercise caution. Humans do not surrender under stress. Daniel read it twice. "That's not fear," he said. "That's learning." Lauren smiled slightly. About time. The chamber doors closed behind James. The quiet returned. But it was not empty quiet anymore. It was thoughtful. The aliens remained where they were, no longer rushing, no longer testing. They spoke softly now. Their movements were slower. More careful. Cold curiosity was gone. In its place was respect. Far away, on ships and stations and worlds that had never seen a human, the message arrived. It passed through hands and eyes and minds. Humans survive what machines cannot measure. And the galaxy adjusted its view. Not because humans demanded it, but because they endured.